It's a few weeks ago now that that pedal show did a video discussing Deluxe Reverb and how it was their candidate for the best amp ever, essentially. Now, obviously, with the caveats to that best ever depends on, you know, what you want an amp to do and that sort of thing. So
this channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
I actually kind of agree that this is an amazing amplifier. What's kind of nice about it is that they're super easy to get hold of, if not super affordable. So sort of £1,000 seems to be about the price that they're going for at the moment. Myself and Jake spotted this one in Weymouth for £850, so that was why we decided to grab this one. So this is just a straightforward reissue. But the good news with these things is that they pop up from time to time. Quality, decent made amps. I think most people seem to agree that they're pretty good. I tend to use the normal channel, if anything. I've seen Jake gig it a couple of times and been on stage with him gigging it. What you should not get the idea from this amp is that it's going to be much other than a clean pedal platform if you're going to be gigging it in 2024. I know in that pedal show video they've got like kind of different ideas about stage volume, but in terms of professional guitar gigs and function gigs and, you know, playing maybe weddings or even pubs, to be honest with you, the kind of volume that this thing kicks out, I'd be surprised if you could get it beyond sort of 3 without starting to get some complaints. It is a really pretty loud amp, and that's the thing that maybe it's not that easy to get across. Like a 22 watt Fender Deluxe Reverb, it sounds so much bigger than it is. It's got such a bold, kind of strong voice to it. I think it's one of the best sounds that I've ever heard Jake use live, and he's had 2 rocks and you know, all that sort of stuff. So I think a super awesome amp for that. But like I say, if you're going to be gigging it live, I don't really think that you're going to be getting sort of above 3, 4 on that volume without certainly raising some eyebrows. It will 100% keep up with the drummer. I just think if we're thinking about, you know, the best amp for certain things, then I think some people are going to be wanting an amp that they can actually get a bit of drive out of. And I think in that case, if you're looking for the Fender sound but with a bit more drive, then possibly the Princeton might actually be a candidate for this, you know, 12 watts. And the problem with the Princeton would be that I don't think the cleans would necessarily be able to necessarily stay pristine and keep up with the drummer. Let me know if you found that works or not. Whereas this, you can have really sparkly kind of cleans at 3 on the controls, and you're still good to go basically, and it'll have plenty of headroom. That is one of the things as well. I was recording in here in my bedroom with it on 2 for this intro, and it is a staggering amount of headroom. You know, chuck a zendrive in front of it, you can boost this thing and it stays, you know, sounding awesome, but the volume really does creep up if you've got it on like volume 2 or 3, to the point where even at 3 it's like my mic can't really handle it particularly well. So the other thing to note with every Fender amp that myself and Jake have tried have needed almost immediate work, and this is not one of the things that I've seen many people talk about particularly. I've seen people like Sonic Audio talk about Mesa Boogie and the problems with Mesa Boogie, but I never really, in all of my years of owning Mesa Boogie amplifiers, encountered a problem, except the reverb eventually on my Mesa Boogie Nomad did stop working. But within months of having any Fender amps, they've needed some sort of work. And now this, the problem with it at the moment is that the valve kind of seems to be pulling out, so it's kind of dropping valves somewhat, like the retainer's not holding them. So that's kind of rendered it a little bit unsafe to gig, because obviously if you're then going to be gigging it with one valve dropped out, it's going to, of course, probably stop working. I think the thing with Fender amps, as far as I'm aware, versus Mesa amps, is that Mesas are biased quite cold. And that's possibly, you know, part of the secret to why Fenders feel and sound so good to play. I think they are biased quite a lot hotter than the things that I've tried, like the Mesa Boogie stuff, which possibly they end up having a shorter tube life and maybe some reliability issues, like in terms of they will need a tech. But I think the thing is that techs do actually like to work on the Fender stuff, whereas the Mesa stuff, not so much. But you can get Mesa stuff for quite a bit cheaper these days. So I've seen there's a Mesa Boogie Mark III nearby for £650, which is a crazy deal. And in some ways, like if I could have that over this, would that be the way to go? The reverb on that wouldn't be as good, but the drives on it, you'd be able to actually do some drive tones at sensible volumes. It's a master volume amp, so I don't know, that might be a candidate. I think definitely the Deluxe Reverb is an amazing amp. I think definitely if you're looking for a clean pedal platform for gigging, you can't really go too far wrong. If you're looking for a great amp for jazz, you can't go wrong. If you're looking for more drive tones without a pedal, I don't think that necessarily the Deluxe Reverb would be the way to go. And I think probably, that's probably fair to say, right? But an incredible sounding amp, and this one is probably going to have to go in for some repair now, which is, as I say, the problem with Fender amps. Let me know your favourite amp. If you've got a candidate for something you think people should be putting at the top of their list instead of the Deluxe Reverb, let me know. I think the VHTD50 in this kind of 800 price range is one of my favourite things that I've tried. You can probably find a bunch of Mesa Boogies used in the UK for around that price. I don't know, let me know your thoughts if you've got other suggestions.